You're watching Escape Adulthood Live, your #1 source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this week's show, we're eating a cake our kids made, celebrating 20 years of marriage, and sharing the top tips that got us here. Cheers!
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Thank you for joining us for 20 years. This is going to be an epic night. We're so excited you're here to join us for this.
It's going to be, this
I need
is
to take a drink.
20 years in the making. You know, since we got married, we've been planning for this night.
Yes, and luckily the dress was still hanging in the closet.
You believe this?
Woohoo!
This is her real wedding dress. This is not my real tux suit.
Because you always give them back, right? But here's the dirty little secret, is that, most wedding dresses, most people will get them professionally boxed and, and cleaned. I didn't do any of that. We just went on our honeymoon and we had a good time, and it's dirty on the bottom and it's been hanging in the closet for 20 years. So, woohoo! I was able to put it on.
And what we have to share is, because you may notice, so this is the thing.
The back is a little tight.
Back,
or open.
The waist fits,
Woohoo!
But the rib cage.
Yeah. Anyone who's had a baby know that your rib cage shifts, and mine has definitely shifted. So I cannot zip it, but that's okay. I'm still here, right?
If I was wearing my tuxedo, I would be like Chris Farley with the fat man in the little coat. That would be me. So
we got a lot of awesome people here tonight. I see Lynn and Kristen.
Look at all these
Barb,
people.
Steven. Thank you guys.
Helen, the dress still fits. Yes, it does. Close enough. Thank you,
enough.
Tracy, for the congratulations. Steven, thank you. So great to have all you guys here. Lynn. This is a good
we have a fun night
party
planned. We've been kind of talking about this one since the very beginning. Of like, oh my gosh, Wednesday night is our anniversary.
It was literally when we said we are doing the show Wednesday nights no matter what.
Right.
And then we realized our anniversary is on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. So we're like, well, we can't go out to eat anyway. Dane County restaurants are closed or, for dine-in. So here we are, and we're excited.
Yeah, so we wanted to do some cool things with you guys tonight. We wanted to share some things we've never shared with anyone. We've got some neat things that our kids have put together that are pretty cool you want to share. But one of the things, besides Kim's actual dress, this is the program that we had for our wedding. And you can see it had the Kim and Jason characters on the program. Mm-hmm. This was homemade, designed by me. It says, "Today I will marry my friend." And what I love on the inside, I'd forgotten about this. We had all of the groomsmen, all of the maids and matrons of honor, best man. What do they call the girl again? Bridesmaid? No.
Maid of honor.
Maid of honor.
Matron of honor.
Yeah. Bridesmaids is what I was meant to say earlier. And we had their kid pictures, like when they were little kids. And we had little, all of the different parts of the service. But then we also had little fun bios of everybody. And
it was just, it kind of shows the foundation of our childlike perspective.
Yeah. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And
so it's kind of neat to look back on that. And anyone who knows Jenna from, anything with our brand, Jenna, who was on 2 weeks ago on the show here.
Yep.
It was kind of neat. Her little bio says that if you've ever seen Father of the Bride, ask her to do her Franck impression, which anyone from the summit knows she does these like characters, right? So I don't know that anyone from the summit has seen her Franck, because she was basically our wedding planner.
Yes.
Surprise.
Yeah,
her and Sue.
And Sue put together the reception and the decorating
and there were
bridesmaids, all the little things.
Course,
as you can surprise. So we had blue was a big part. It was like the cobalt blue, which is very similar to some of the blues in this painting here.
Yep. Daisies were our flower.
We went to Cocoa Beach and Disney World for our honeymoon. So we got the Mickey Mouse tie representing here.
Yep.
And it was good stuff. But we have some amazing things to share with you guys tonight. And speaking of sharing,
do
you want to offer
Oh, yes. Yeah. Last week we asked us to, if you feel inclined to, share this right now live, it's always cool to see the serendipitous moments when people find Escape Adulthood and find the tribe that they've been waiting for. So please feel free to push share or start a watch party or however you want to do it on your Facebook there. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Part of the reason we want you to do that is because we are giving away an original painting tonight. Yeah. And you have to be here live. Never done that before.
No.
So that's one of the things. And we're also going to be sharing, you make it 20 years. That's pretty good. Our parents are still better. But 20 years is something. And so we've learned a few things. We wanted to share some of the things that have worked for us. So hopefully that will be useful as well. But first.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yes, we have some really amazing candles that are limited edition on our site. And so we thought, candles, we're trying to come up with like the theme of the night wedding, romance, right? So candles, because who doesn't love a candle?
Candles are good.
Right?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. So we have white tea and ginger. And if you love those two combined, it is nice and delicate.
Yeah, the ginger is a good one. The panda, I thought that was, the tea and the ginger. Got the 3D panda art.
Yep.
This one here is Be Optimistic. And this is...
It's like flying around back there.
Well, I know what that means.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So this one is Honeysuckle Blossom. So honey, get it, with the bee.
Yes. And then we have this is one of my favorite pieces of art. If you've never seen this, it's called the apple catcher. A little fox waiting for apple to fall off the apple tree. And of course, this is Macintosh apple, and it is wonderful fall.
It's Macintosh.
Yep.
And then this one is the little whimsy with the giraffe with the little drinking straw.
Yes.
This one is Magnolia. So this is a really good springtime one.
Yeah.
And we don't have very many of these left. That's why we wanted to share them with you, because there's not many left. They are limited edition. They're, I think, under $20. So get them while you can. But yeah, it felt like it was a good product to share with this theme, with the, whole romantic thing.
We should light a couple.
And whatnot. Yeah, we should. And then,
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So we wanted to share a little bit about our history and share some stories tonight. So let's get right into that part of it. If I can find there we go.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
What's this about? I know nothing about this.
What?
What?
No. Oh,
what?
that was.
No.
I apologize for that.
I don't understand what this is about.
20 years, people. 20 years. No, this seriously. I know that 20 years is
2 decades.
Is a blessing. Yes, it is 2 decades. It is 20 years. It is 365 days times 20.
Yeah.
But it's been a pretty awesome ride, I have to say.
Yes.
We were excited this morning because we woke up to this, and that was kind of a surprise. We had some people who made this happen.
Who will remain kind of anonymous. We have some ideas, but yes, the Adultitis Fighter, Tammy Schroeder, owns this wonderful company, Funny Faces Family Entertainment. If you're in the Madison area, please look her up. I actually put something on my personal Facebook about her business in the comments. So
so she does these ballooning things.
This is her thing. She brings joy to people. Talk about adultitis fighting.
Yeah. This was pretty rad. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, Mary and Kim is not actually my first wedding. I was actually in a wedding before that, and I was in this group. And if you need a close up, that was me. I was the ring bearer in my aunt and uncle's wedding, and I was not very cooperative. So
I think the family still kind of teases you about that one.
This will never be lived down.
Right.
Stephen
Saki's counting the minutes for us, by the way.
Thank
you for that.
I can't get it out of my head. So I just wanted to share a few things. Now, Kim has not seen many of these photos, which means that I probably we'll get in trouble by the end of it.
Yeah.
But this is a shot of us from the dating years, back in the old days.
Yes.
When we were just
still
newly...
a Superman shirt though. Did you wear one like 2 weeks ago on the show?
Probably. Yeah, I think I did. So that was that. And then actually this is kind of a fun trip down memory lane. This is the woman who introduced us. She was a mutual friend of both of us, Teresa, and I called her T-Bird. She called me J-Bird, and we knew of each other through her.
Yeah.
And at least I heard a lot about her. And I think when we first met was at a restaurant called Oogie's. It was Christmas caroling. Mm-hmm. I went there to...
Wait till you hear this. Go ahead. I got a lot more people on my side this time.
There was a certain other girl I was pursuing at the time. Yeah. And I found out that she was going to be there. And I was like, well, this is good. So that was my game plan, which meant that I could be under the radar with Kim. And I remember
so under the radar. Right?
Remember my awesome first line.
Yes, this is literally what Jason said to me the first time we had an interaction, kind of towards the end of the night of Christmas caroling. He said, "So you're..."
I remember it being at the beginning.
Oh, really? I don't know. He said, "So you're the famous Kim Halm. I've heard so much about Halm being my maiden name." And I'm like, who is this guy? No.
She was smitten. And so, like, I kind of got this cold shoulder from this other girl. But I kind of was like, this she's pretty cute. But then we went into a video store. Does anyone remember those?
Yeah.
And someone shouted out, "Hey, Kim, there's your boyfriend." And it was this large, hulking gent from the football team who looked a little bit like Frankenstein, and I immediately knew I was out of my league, so I kind of stepped
Later,
back.
he became friends with the Frankenstein, and we were all friends. So isn't that neat how life just kind of comes around?
One big funny thing, isn't it? So this was high school. This is homecoming. We did a couple homecomings. I think I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse vest, so it's amazing how things come full circle.
That's actually prom, but that's okay.
Oh yeah. So classic. We're like, this is homecoming. Like,
we really dressed up for homecoming.
Knows nothing. This, however, I do know was the Sadie Hawkins dance.
Oh yes.
And so
we need to explain this a little bit.
Well, you may have realized I've written a book called "Penguins Can't Fly" and 39 Other Rules That Don't Exist. Right. And I specifically remember this was in would have been late 90s, right? So
yes,
the whole flannel thing was big, and it was pretty much
96?
everyone that went to these dances, and Sadie Hawkins is when the girl invites the guy, and everyone was wearing the typical Abercrombie and Fitch flannel-y type shirt with the khaki pants. And I remember we were going to the mall. Remember malls? We were going to the mall to get our outfit, and we were just I remember being kind of disgusted.
Yeah,
like,
we just didn't want to be like everybody. Posers,
thing?
Right? Was that a word?
And
posers?
So we may have gone a little bit in the other direction.
We liked The Crow, okay? We were really into The Crow for some reason. We liked the soundtrack. We loved, what's his name? The main guy. That
Brandon
literally
Lee,
died producing this movie. So there was like this whole, story that really resonated. So long story short, we're like, let's just go as The Crow. And yeah, we did. And we were freaks.
Yeah, Barb says mimes, but you're close. We weren't mimes. We were the Crow.
The Crow. And I don't know why we were both The Crow. There's a lot of questions.
Kim says 94% weird.
Yes.
Yeah, this
94.
may have been 95. Although I will say this was one of my proudest moments because I was in college when I was dating Kim. I was like a freshman or sophomore. Mm-hmm. And it was all the talk of the dance of like, who did Kim?
Well, I went to a small high school, so there were 75 of us in my senior class. So, it gets around. So that, like, who's this college guy? Why the heck are they painting their faces? Like I said, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. But when you're a senior in high school, there's a lot of question marks.
It harkens back to the rules that don't exist thing. That thou shalt wear Abercrombie and Fitch shirts to Sadie Hawkins dance.
Yes,
right?
Very much.
So then we cleaned things up a little bit. We got engaged. This is our cute little engagement photo back when I wore contacts. Mm-hmm. And here's our actual wedding picture. You can see
same
proof.
Dress
Same
there
dress.
It is, baby.
Same tux. No, not the same tux. Not at all. Then, we started our marriage and pretty much right into it, we started our business. Yeah. And Kim, you haven't seen this picture probably in 15 years or however long this was. But Sue and Jenna were with us at all of these shows. And we had to create a booth. And we would sell greeting cards and prints based off of the Kim and Jason characters. And this particular show was in Chicago, I believe. And we set up my art table where I could paint, which was sort of it was an introvert trick because I hate
trade shows like 4 days in a row.
So it was like I could be actually doing something, and then people could look over my shoulder, and I could talk to them and stuff. But we all had little shirts that we wore, and it's
probably Cafe Press.
Yeah,
right?
I think that was just little printed up, kind of like iron-on type shirts. Mm-hmm. Remember this one? Cheese Days?
Cheese Days down in Monroe, Wisconsin.
I'm sure some of you on watching here today that are in Wisconsin, you probably are familiar with Cheese Days.
There was like a print shop, or no, what was it, like a framing shop that carried our prints. And so she was like, why don't you just set up in front and da-da-da. And so we were there for the weekend and trying to sell some artwork through the store. So that was the kind of stuff we did back then.
Yep, we sell the prints. We were hustling, right? Then we had this I wanted to share because this was a promo shot we did for our website for when the escape plan came out. My brother took this photo. I've always liked it. I liked the fact that we sort of look like we're in a band or something. We look like super cool even though we're not. But I especially like this picture because it is
classic.
Kim not smiling. And I love Kim's smile. It's like her trademark. But there's something like, isn't there something mysterious about when she's not? Like you're like,
and I'm and not mad at you.
Not like, mad. Yeah. It's like a different, like
just distant looking. I mean, I had that face with the crow, but it was a little.
There's like a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Right.
So then this one I pulled out because this was our very first out of state speaking gig. Back in 2005, it was a dream of ours to go to Seattle, and we actually convinced someone to pay us money. And they bought our plane tickets. We thought it was so cool. They actually spent more money on the plane tickets than what we charged for the speaking engagement. And
Seattle's not cheap to get to.
No, but that is us with the Space Needle in the background, and we got to go to the Pike Place Market.
That was before we knew Stephen Saki.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So a little history there for you, Stephen.
Kim holding up a big fish at the Pike Place Market. We've been there several times since then. It still has a special place in our heart. And then we've got Lucy's first flight. So that was a thing that we heard a lot.
Yeah.
We were married for 8 years before kids. Everyone was like, oh, wait till you have kids. Then you'll really know what adultitis is all about, and you won't be able to be traveling
Just you
anymore.
wait. We actually wrote a book called Just You Wait.
And we got to do a shout out to Marilyn and Jim Schober, right?
Yes.
Because they were the ones who inspired us.
Yeah, they kept telling us as we got closer to starting a family, and then during Lucy's pregnancy, of like, you guys got this. Like, this is what you want it to be. And we took both of our kids to all 50 states pretty much by the time they were 5, and they told us anecdotes, and it just gave us confidence. And sometimes all you need is to borrow courage from one person to know it's possible. And so Marilyn and Jim, you were our one family that we borrowed courage from. And Lucy was on 34 flights her first year. So maybe that was crazy, but we did it.
We got pretty good. We got pretty good at learning hacks and how to make things easier. This is a fun one of us working on the road at a hotel. And I love this because it looks like Lucy is just on the pavement there. And she's not. She's actually on a
little table
chair,
or something.
I think, one of those beach chairs. But just the angle of it is like, oh, just throw the kid on the ground.
We got work to do. Yeah.
So, good stuff. And then 10 years ago, I can't believe it was 10 years ago, we were in Key West to celebrate our 10-year anniversary.
Did the dolphin thing, which was on our bucket list.
Rented a convertible from Miami and drove down to Key West and stopped to meet this guy at the time. So that was pretty cool. And then last year was another dream of ours to go to Hawaii. And we were able to get a speaking engagement there. I spoke to some nurses, and we had the great fortune of being able to bring our entire family to that. So it has certainly been quite a journey.
Yes.
And
20 years just goes like that. I mean, it just really does. But we're blessed. And
I want to know, are there any people out there that are married that have been? How long have you been married? Is it like? I'm sure some of you are newlyweds. Is there anyone out there that's done a Zoom wedding? They're like brand new. I don't know if anyone probably on your honeymoon in your
drive-by receptions.
I've backyard
heard about that.
Or something.
Isn't this crazy that this is even a
But yeah, if you've been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 2 years, let's see what our audience out there, where are you guys at? So as we get that, Leah's been married 12 years. That's awesome.
Congratulations. That's
Lisa
great.
Marie, 15. That's great. Nicole, 20 years on May 27th. Just behind us. That's awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. We got 9 years. The big 10 coming up.
Nice.
Robert, 19. Will be 20 years on the 27th. Okay. I think that's
husband. Connected.
Yes,
yeah,
right?
Nicole. Yeah.
Look at this. Kara, 30 years.
Aww,
Congratulations. That's awesome. Jennifer, coming up on 25.
Very cool.
We got Barb. 9.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stephanie going on 11. All right, so that's cool. I'm glad. Hopefully,
shout out to everybody.
Hopefully, you guys will be able to. Some of the stuff we'll share tonight will be inspiration for you, and the fact that we have so many people who have been doing this and creating great marriages is an inspiration to us, for sure. But I wonder. Sometimes people wonder, like, we get to 20 years, is there a secret? And I don't know that there is, other than, like, don't take yourself too seriously, right? Mm-hmm. But part of the reason we wanted to bring up this painting is because part of the reason I made this was to talk about this concept of relationships. And it's funny, like, we were talking about the old days of when we were first dating and homecoming and prom and all that stuff. And everyone thinks the beginning part of a relationship is the best part. Like, everyone's all excited and you're curious if the person likes you or likes you. And just even a touch from that person sends shivers up your spine. And the way they chew their food or borrow your coat when it's cold is still cute, right? All of those things. And that, the beginning stages are good. They are exciting and fun. But what it reminds me of a little bit is sort of like it's like bread and cheese, right? So bread is good, cheese is good. When you're first starting out, you're like two separate entities, like bread and cheese, and you put them together and that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But Johnny Cash, he was right. He said love is a burning thing. Mm-hmm. And that's why this painting is called A Ring of Fire, because it doesn't get good until you start to go through some fires together. You start to get a little of that char, that crispiness. You melt and you become one. And if you've ever tried to pull apart a grilled cheese sandwich,
which I do easy, because, right? I like to put pickles on it.
Put pickles on it. And it's hard. And that's how it should be. It's hard to separate a grilled cheese sandwich. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of what it's like. Is like it doesn't really get good until you get through some hard times. And, I don't know if there's any sort of secret. There's a little bit of luck, I'm sure, but there's commitment, there's communication, there's all those sorts of things. But I think if I think of one thing, I think about our parents. Mm-hmm. Our parents have been together for a combined 90 years of marriage. That's crazy. They have been through some fires together. Both sets of them. They've been through some ups and some really hard downs. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I think inspired us, they inspired us, is there was a sense of like, we're in this period no matter what. Like, the reality is, like, love is not a feeling. At the beginning, it's kind of a feeling. But once you go farther along, love is a choice. It is a choice that, for me and you, like when we said till death do us part, we really meant it. My parents, your parents, they really meant it. And so there's something about, like, in my head, I just eliminated us breaking up as an option. When we fight, which we do sometimes, we get passive aggressive with one another, we do the cold shoulder thing. It happens. But plan A is to work it out. Maybe it takes 24 hours. Maybe one of us has to not be so stubborn. It takes a little bit, but that's plan A, is to work it out. There is no plan B. There is no plan B. Now, this can be thrown out the window, of course, if both parties aren't on the same page, right?
And that does
sometimes that happens, where someone throws in the towel, someone flakes out, someone doesn't live up to the promise, and that is devastating. It's heartbreaking. Right. But the main message I just wanted to share was that I want to give hope to the newlyweds, to the people thinking about giving this love thing another shot, maybe to the people who are in the middle of one of those fires right now, is that this is an opportunity for it to get even better. That you can come out the other side, that you can make good things come out of difficult situations, which is a lesson that we are all learning right now in the middle of this pandemic, right? Once you get past the lovey-dovey stage, things get real. Things will flare up, you'll encounter fires, and you're going to come out a little charred, right? But the thing is that char, the battle scars from a life lived together, the richness, the depth that adds, the magic, a regular old cheese sandwich can only dream about. So I think to me, that's the key, is that it's a choice, and those fires are not a sign that things are going bad. It's a sign that you can get stronger and you can get even better. I don't know how you feel about that, or what.
Well, this is definitely a subconscious metaphor of living in Wisconsin for 20 years as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
Every time Jason goes out on a stage in his introduction, it talks about cheese, So I think there is something to be said about has cheese taught us?
Yeah, it's like cheese
sandwiches are
layered
terrible,
metaphor.
Right?
Tune in next week when we talk about cheese curds and create a great metaphor around that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love that Kathy says, in it to win it. I love that. Barb, no fire, no grilled cheese. Kim, love is a battlefield. Indeed.
Yes.
Really good. Okay. So basically we have a couple tips, right?
Yeah.
We didn't want to do the whole communicate with each other and don't cheat on each other. Those are kind of good. Yeah, we know. Thanks for that.
Maybe that would have been our lessons after year number 1, you know, but hopefully we got a little bit more insight.
So those are kind of the
later.
Basics. We were kind of we wanted to dig a little deeper, because maybe there's an insight that, going through the process ourselves helped me to be like, that is kind of a thing that we do.
So here's the first one. Find your daily ritual. Okay, so for Jason and I, it is walking. And this started when we were dating. We would walk around my parents' neighborhood when he'd come over to visit, and just, maybe it was just something to do because we lived in a small town. There wasn't much to do. But it started into a routine that we love to go on walks. That's where we process things. That's where we kind of hash out our opinions and our thoughts and our dreams. And then, of course, when we moved to Madison, started our company, we didn't have any money for a long time, ever. And so we would go on walks by the lakes, and that was part of what drew us to Madison, was the beautiful walking paths. So that's our daily ritual, but what's yours? So if you guys don't have one, maybe it's an opportunity to find one, whether it's sipping coffee together on the porch swing, or just trying to find something that you love to do every day. A lot of times it could have to do with drinks or food. Because you're doing this anyway. But maybe that's just part of the day, is you look forward to kind of having a little moment together at the end of the day, a little happy hour or something. Yeah,
I've heard of hot tub out on the back.
Which would be amazing. Yes, that would be awesome.
Bicycling together. Anyone, a lot of people already said you've been married for a while out there. What are some of your rituals that you guys got? Because share a ritual of yours. Maybe someone who doesn't have one or needs a new one will see something in the comments and think of something good.
Just a little check-in every day, right? All right, this one I think is kind of a little controversial, so here we go. We'll bring it up. BFF, be friends forever. Now, this all happened when Julia Roberts, there was a movie, it was my best friend's wedding? Is that what this was? And then at the end, she didn't marry her best friend. So basically, I remember this movie when we were dating. We had this whole big conversation of like, shouldn't your best friend be your spouse? And then other people are like, no, my best friend is not my spouse. So long story short, the point I think that I bring from this is like, your best friend is the first person you go to when you have really, really big news, high
Good or bad,
low, right?
Yeah.
Who's the one you call? Who's the one you text? And so that's the challenge. I think it really is important that person is your spouse.
Does that mean that I don't have to go shoe shopping anymore?
I never take you shoe shopping. So it's not about shoe shopping and coffees. It's about who is your go-to for the highs and the lows in the day-to-day. If that becomes someone other than your spouse, then I think that gets challenging later because that bridge, that connection gets a little wobbly.
Yeah,
right? So
I
that's
agree.
my opinion. I mean, you can feel free to disagree, but I think you agree with me. Yeah. All right, share a mission. Go ahead with that one.
Yeah, so obviously you guys, we kind of are doing a thing here, this escape adulthood thing, and it's what's interesting about it is we didn't know we would be here 20 years ago, like here literally on doing this or any of that. I didn't know I'd be doing those, but one of the things that strikes me about our wedding day is we were very intentional to stand before God and say, we are yours. And we were I remember really being like, I felt like he put me and Kim together for a reason. And I had hopes, I had dreams, we had ideas of, obviously we had the Kim and Jason over here. The Kim and Jason characters already alive. And so we thought, that might have something to do with this whole being more childlike, but adultitis wasn't coined yet.
Mm-mm.
But we were very intentional, like, there are things that only we can do together rather than if we were apart. And for us, that turned out to be this business, this mission that we're on, fighting adultitis. But I think it's helpful if every couple has some sort of mission. It doesn't, you don't have to go into business together or anything, but if there's like a cause that you really care about. I know Mike Schroeder is watching here. Him and his wife have been foster parents.
And congratulations on your recent adoption.
The adoption,
I know,
huge.
So
that's something to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know that. I don't know if I could do that. Like
foster parent journey.
That's not what I am called to, at least right now. But like for people that are, that's a mission, right? It might be helping out at the church together. We know a lot of couples who work together and do different things at their church and bring their talents that way. So I feel like that's an important thing to have something that you're both working on together. And of course, if you are blessed with children and have kids, that is a solo
automatically.
mission. Well. This one is kind of a fun one to think about because we love live music.
We love live music, and for a while now, we've been big fans of the Weepies. Okay, husband and wife, Deb. You'll know the names. Deb Tannen,
Steve Tannen.
They're from California, but they have the most amazing harmony, and we have seen them perform live a handful of times. And whenever we're there, we're like, oh my gosh, they are just such a beautiful mix of compliment and whatnot. And so the concept for this one is sometimes someone has to take the lead and be the lead singer, and someone does the complementary harmony in the background, and that should ebb and flow. So for instance, we have a friend, Meg, who her husband, she had a business, but her husband was going to go back to school and get his master's degree and advance in his career. So she kind of sang harmony in the background for a while and took the lead with the kids and kind of put her business growth on the back burner a little bit so that he could take the lead and sing lead singer for a while. And now, how many years later? 15, it's reversed. So he's already in a place where he's, where he wants to be, and she's growing her business and it's really taking off. So it's like there's this ebb and flow of lead singer and background singer, and the harmony is what is so beautiful, is as long as it's transitioning. Yeah, it needs to be, and then you need to trade off, because if one person is always the lead singer and always gets to be in the limelight and do their thing,
that doesn't work as well. So
Right.
you have to you have to balance that out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this one is like almost like the cherry on top for us. It's like kind of the foundation of everything we talk about, which is stay seriously silly. Don't take yourself so seriously. And Jason actually we have this joke that we've had since we've been dating is like he has to make me laugh every day. So when he does, oftentimes he'll point it out like, yes, made you laugh today. And it may seem silly, but it adds that little playful spirit. And when you're first dating, of course, you're silly all the time because it's flirting, especially if, you're in a situation where you don't start dating right away and you're just kind of flirting around. And that's just natural.
Pillow fights. And all that,
there's all these excuses to kind of get close to each other and things like that.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But as after a few years of marriage and life and work and kids or whatever your life is, it's not as easy to be silly. It's just easier. You get more attention when you're crabby, I think, when in a relationship, because then the other person is like, what's wrong? And da-da-da. And that can be like a little bit of drama that creates attention. And that's not the kind of attention you should want for one another. The silliness is much more healthy.
The silliness keeps it fresh. And that's why this week's prescription is so important. So whether you're newly married, been married for 30 years, this is your prescription, is to do something together that is typically seen as inappropriate for someone of your age by someone with adultitis, basically. Right.
And I know people talked a couple weeks ago about flying a kite would be a good one.
Yep.
Right?
Getting Happy Meals, having a living room picnic, things like that. Building a fort.
Kara, Tracy, and Paul this week had a water balloon fight at lunch.
Yeah, that's right.
And Paul didn't make up.
He didn't fare well. He lost, it looked like, from the pictures. Yes.
But 30 years of marriage, right? Like, you do stuff to keep it fresh. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we want to invite everyone. We put together a little ebook a while ago. It's called Cupid versus Adultitis. And it's basically some challenges to bring the fun back into your relationship. So this is a free download for insiders. If you are not an Adultitis Fighter insider, we invite you to sign up. It is totally free. You will get access to the Adultitis Fighter arsenal, where you will be able to download all sorts of things, including this. And if you are currently an insider, just go to any past issue and look at the very bottom. There's a link with the password of how to get in. But I was looking at that the other day, and there's some really fun challenges in there that are, again, a little bit different out of the ordinary.
We try to come up with some different stuff. I know, I love Lisa Marie's comment. She says, run to get ice cream in pajamas. It's like, that's an easy one, right? Like, and that's, how hard is that to just say, you're in your pajamas, like, let's just go get some ice cream.
Yep. Kim, we ice skated in the driveway when it flooded last winter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nicole says, okay, we regularly get the kids' meals at Culver's. Hello. I know. The custard
they get
scoop,
ice cream free.
You get the free ice cream with it, and it comes with a topping.
Right.
Yeah, custard.
Yeah,
right.
I know. We're not ice
Forgive
cream.
me.
Culver's.
Forgive me, Father Culver. I have sinned. Yeah, but it's like you get a little topping in there. It's pretty sweet. So.
Speaking of sweet things,
yes,
our kids really, 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 really wanted to do something for our anniversary, and we've been watching what is it called? The Food Baking Champion? No,
Kids Baking
Championship. It's off Food Network. And so we watched a few seasons of this, and the kids start to get really excited about baking when they watch this because, these are kids and they're making like amazing cakes and everything else. So we kind of put our heads together. We're like, you know what? Let's give the kids a challenge for our anniversary. And
we gave them a challenge. I said, okay, here's the challenge. And we set it up like
it was a Food Network challenge.
This is your challenge, guys.
Right. Yeah.
You have to make a cake that represents both me and your mom as a dessert.
Which is scary.
Which is interesting because we have a lot of the same taste, but we are completely opposite.
We don't share
in the dessert
desserts.
spectrum. She is the chocolate. I am the fruit pie, and
they do not mix.
No, I'm vanilla. She's chocolate, and so we're like, oh, that's a challenge. You got to incorporate both of us.
Right.
I said it's got to be a cake that has at least 2 layers because we watched them make layer cakes recently. Something like that would be cool.
Yeah.
And it has to be totally from scratch. And we said, figure out the design, figure out what you want it to look like. Give us the ingredients list. We will get whatever you need. And they basically did.
Yeah.
They put a list together. They
It was like a
figured out all the
2.5 day
quantities.
project.
It was
right.
ridiculous. And so we have a world premiere video to share of what these kids put together.
Close your eyes with me, start imagining a world full of love. We can change the stars with our hands and hearts, make them shine on us. But no, don't worry, darling, they won't stop staring, but soon they'll be caring. Come from near and far with their hands and hearts, 'cause it's time to stand up. Oh, the world is changing, and all I'm saying is we gotta believe. I'm a drop of water, but you know together we're the ocean deep. The time is always right to open up your eyes and be the flickering flame. We can light the corners, shine through all the borders. Deep down we are the same. But no, don't worry, darling, they won't stop staring, but soon they'll be caring. Oh, the world is changing, and all I'm saying is we gotta believe. I'm a drop of water, but you know together we're the ocean deep.
Right?
All right. You guys
And
think?
here's our bakers. Here it is, you guys. Isn't it amazing?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it smells so good. So, Lucy, can you tell everybody a little bit about like where did this concept?
Tell us what you made
Yes,
for us
what
today.
did you do here?
So the bottom layer is chocolate because Mom loves chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top layer is cherry because Dad likes cherry. And
Right.
then we had the cherries and the piping there and then the hearts because it's their anniversary. So
And there's cherries in
the chocolate layer, yeah.
and the cherry layer. There's chopped up cherries inside both.
Yeah, and chopped up chocolate in the cherry layer. So
See the mixing? It's kind of like a melted grilled cheese again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ginny, what was your favorite part about making this cake?
maybe piping it.
Piping it. You did some of these roses, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest part? Was there a hard part, or was it all super easy?
Maybe cutting up the chocolate chips.
Ooh, that is tricky.
Tricky.
Right?
How about you, Ben? What was your favorite part of this project?
Maybe separating the eggs.
Yeah.
Separating the
that was
eggs.
a
You guys
fun
did good at that. That was
thing.
not an easy thing or an easy thing to do.
And
so.
this ganache was a whole new thing you guys had never tried before to make ganache and do the drips like that. That was a baking championship show inspiration, I'm sure.
So the question is, should we taste it?
Yeah.
Should we try it? All right. Let's. Well, first of all, I need to do this.
And this is our cake topper from our wedding, you guys. So that's kind of fun. Jason's dad and him did work on that together. They did that. Yes. They did have like a bazillion cherries in the process. So, all right. What do you got there?
Step back down, Ben. Need to get something here.
We're going to taste it, you guys.
Right, we'll probably take this off.
Yeah, which will be tricky.
Save those cherries for later.
Mm-hmm.
Put that down there for now.
And this is cherry flavored frosting, like a buttercream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Oh, Ben, grab that plate. Yeah, so when I said a layer cake, I wasn't expecting it. This is like 4 layers, isn't it?
It is 2
All right, Ben, how about that
recipes of
scooper?
cake, a chocolate cake and a cherry cake. And these are homemade cakes. These are not box cakes, right? We should say that. And these are homemade. This is homemade frosting. This is not canned frosting. So
We debated whether we should do this. Oh, there we go. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Got a little bit here. Get me a little fork. Okay. All right. Mom, you can do the honors.
Okay. Am I feeding it to you? Or no?
Well, we don't want to relive that memory.
No, that's a whole nother story, isn't it?
There's a fork there, by the way. But,
Oh. We'll let the groom have a bite.
we do the barbarian spaghetti thing, so it's no big deal.
So the one thing I told Jason going into our wedding day was like, please don't shove cake in my face. I don't want to have to go to the bathroom and like wipe it all off. I just don't want you to. I just don't want you to. And what do you suppose he did? It was like all over me, which I don't know. Maybe this is really
all
white.
over you. Come on.
Let's look back at the
You
picture.
make it sound. You know what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah. I will bring pictures to the next show.
All
I
right,
promise.
try
you.
this roll.
Yeah, this is
This is pretty good.
So Lucy has a chocolate cake
Chocolate.
recipe that she puts with a cup of coffee in it. So the moistness is amazing. The moist chocolate.
I think that you guys.
Rocked it. Oh, I think it's.
I'm gonna give a judgment.
Oh, okay.
I think that what you guys created today.
Is this like Chef Ramsay or like?
Yeah, but without the accent. Is terribly good.
Yay! Do we have kids cheering or something? Do you have a button?
Oh, yeah, we gotta get that going.
Yay!
And Ben, how about the air horn? Let's
Can
get
you do the air horn, Ben? Push it.
This is awesome. Well, we are
Thank
going
you,
to
guys.
eat more of this later.
Thank you.
You guys can go back and.
We'll see you in a little bit. Thank you. We will dig in with all of you. Yes.
All right.
Pretty cool, huh? I mean, that was awesome.
Okay. Well, let's see. What? I don't know what face I was making, but Brian says I love Jason's face. I don't know what that is. I don't. Well, I'm not even gonna mention that.
Smash it in his face.
No.
Who said that? Yes, I didn't get to see who said that. Suzanne.
Suzanne. Lisa
Right?
Marie, you're going to
Payback.
make me cry with happiness. Very nice. Very good. Sue, who needs a fork? You know, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
There's no need
I
for
like
it.
that.
So that was a cool family project. This is, many of you guys know we do homeschool, not the kind of homeschool that everybody's done the last 2 months. We like literally have, decided to do it. And this is part of like our philosophy is just giving them big projects or letting something inspire new ideas and to see the degree that they took it.
Yeah, I mean, they were
Pretty
literally, you saw in the video, they were writing things down and
Researched
drawing
their
pictures. And
recipes. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I have realized about myself in this experience that we have had homeschooling is I totally underestimate my kids.
Yeah.
And because of that, I see how we as a society underestimate kids.
Right.
And what they are capable of. And that we think that they really can only contribute to anything once they're out of high school or in college or whatever. And it's like, if you give kids an opportunity, they will blow you away. And I know some of you work with kids and teens. And
Yeah, you know this.
You know
firsthand.
this, but
right.
I think that's one of the things that we have learned, and one of the things that we have realized in this process is that kids are natural born learners. And I mean, we could probably write a paper on all of the things they learned and worked on while they were doing this cake, from
Not to
math
mention
and science
persistence of like 10 hours,
teamwork
right?
and persistence and creativity and all that kind of stuff. So
pretty cool.
It's a little slice, no pun intended, of what that kind of stuff looks like the way we do homeschooling, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
I think it's time to draw.
It's time to draw?
Yes.
Does anyone else think it is time?
Go ahead and grab your
draw.
paper and marker.
All right, you guys.
Let's do this.
We're going to draw something. Why is this like crooked on me? There we go.
There we go.
Give me a little bit more room to work with. So what we're going to draw tonight is grilled cheese in love. All right. So get your pens and pencils or markers or chalk or spray paint ready. And how we're going to start out with this is we're going to do kind of like the letter A, but without the bar in the middle. Kind of like a skinny upside down V. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of like make a triangle like that. Connect those two edges with the triangle. All right. Now I'm going to just do a little outline along the edges. This is going to be sort of like the crust. All right. Now we're going to do the gooey cheese. So the gooey cheese is just going to be a line, but it's going to be a little bit of a curved line like that. And I'm going to do another one underneath it. And that's a big chunk of cheese. And then I'm going to do a skinny one underneath it. All right, so we got that. Then I'm going to do some little drips down here. These aren't my, what do I usually do? Like the little jaggedy things that I've been doing the last. It's not like that, but it's like the rounded jaggeties, right? By the end of this, I'm going to have all kinds of different names, jaggeties, and then we're going to put some little hearts up here. Aww. All right, and then our little faces.
Yes, the Jason smile with the eyes farther out.
Okay, now I'm going to go, in this program I can do a second layer, and I'm going to try to do some sort of a colored the bread. Just to color this in a little bit.
Okay. That's cool.
So color in this little sandwich, and then I'm going to show you a little trick on how to make. We got some good commentary coming in here.
Mike says, "You're making me hungry tonight. We
got
cake, yes. We got cheese.
Carbolicious tonight.
You know, if you need to go make a grilled cheese, no one's gonna judge you. You know."
Okay, so then we're gonna get some more of a Velveeta color, a little American cheese, and we're gonna color in this.
Oh yeah, classic bright orange.
Yeah, I probably could go a little. It's probably a little too orange, but that's all right.
Yeah.
You know what's going on here. Now, here's the fun part. How do you make it look like grilled cheese? Right now, it looks like just a cheese sandwich. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a little brown, and I'm going to make my thing a little smaller. And I'm going to do what they call cross-hatching. And cross-hatching is basically when, well, that's too big. Make it a little smaller. Cross-hatching is when you just take little lines, little parallel lines, and then you hatch them with lines going in the other direction.
That's easy.
It is easy, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
it's
you
like
just kind of do
hashtags all over the place.
Yeah, it's like hashtags on steroids. And you just kind of do some of these everywhere, and you want to keep it a little bit irregular. You don't want the exact same thing all over the place. And you can kind of see it's got little like char marks here, just with some little hashtag.
Of course, if you do too many of those, then you got to take a knife and scrape them off.
Right.
And then no one will know.
I was going to say you could make it as toasty as you want.
Suzanne says mine looks like slices of pizza.
So
I could see that.
Yeah.
Like that's very similar shape.
All right. So we're going to do a little char, and then I'm going to put a little let's see. Little cheeks. I'm just going to draw. That's too.
Sounds like Tracy Miller had grilled cheese for dinner. So
Nice.
On the same wavelength tonight,
Put just give him a little character, little rosy cheeks there, and then we'll color in the little.
Cassie Joe says, I love it so much. They're cute.
There you go.
I love them too. They're adorable.
All right, so there's your grilled cheese. And you can draw your own grilled cheese in love, because I know when you woke up this morning, you're like, if only I knew how to draw grilled cheese in love, maybe today would be a good day. And now you're welcome.
So please send us your sketches, your drawings. You can send them to our email, kj@escapeadulthood.com.
We've got that up here. So, send us your drawings. We've got some from last week that we're going to show in a little bit.
Yes.
But let's do this first.
Time for the studio. All right, let's see what we got.
Go right into it. We're making progress on the turtle, but we talk a little bit in detail about some of the details of the color mixing today.
Right, as you can see, Jason is still working on the sea turtle. And I have to tell you that one of the biggest pieces of feedback we get from people when they see his work in person is just how bright the color is. Maybe, it's used to seeing it digitally or whatever, but when they actually see one of his oil paintings, right in front of them, they're like, wow, the color, I can't believe it. So Jay, can you tell us a little bit more about how you get that radiant color?
Yeah, so it's not a talent, it is a choice. So I learned in school and through experience that when you add black to a color, it deadens it. And so a lot of people, they intuitively think if they're painting or they're using color and they want to make it darker, you just add black to it, or you add white to it to make it lighter. And the problem is when you add black to a color, it deadens it, takes the life out of it. So what I do is I use complementary colors. And so you may remember from art class or science class that complementary colors are purple and yellow, red and green are complements, and blue and orange. And so like if in this case, when I'm making yellow and I need to make it a little bit darker, I just add a little bit of purple in there, and that just darkens it up a little bit. If I were to add black to that, it would really deaden it. It would kind of be like a greenish, gross color, but I can add a little purple and it gives me a darker yellow color. And vice versa. If I want to lighten up the purple, I can add a little bit of yellow to it. And I might still add white and whatnot. But the key is I don't want to add black, because technically, scientifically, black is the absence of light. And so in my paintings, there's always light, even in the darkness, even in the dark times. It's just sort of like a metaphor for right now. There's always a little bit of light. And that's why I think people see light coming out of my paintings, is because I don't add black. Now I do have a color I like to use. It's called Payne's Gray. And this is a very dark, desaturated bluish gray color. So if I need something that looks that like punches up the darkness a little bit more, I'll use this. I do have a black paint tube, but I don't hardly ever use it. And so in this case, this is still has color in it. There's still light. And so that's, I think that's why the paintings sort of glow with color, because
I would never have known that.
Light in there.
Yeah, very cool. And Jason is still eating cake, so there you go. But yeah,
you did good.
I literally had no idea that he doesn't use black. That was new information to me, so I thought that was kind of cool, right? The complementary makes it darker but keeps the light. Who knew?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me these things? We've been married for 20 years.
I got to keep something a secret.
Not anymore.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, speaking of original art, stay tuned, because we are about to give away some original art. So, that is coming up real quick. But first, it's time.
Yes, in case you missed it, Jason did opt out of fancy pants tonight and is wearing swimming trunks.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
We've got some Adultitis Fighters to get to tonight,
Yes,
but
we
first
do.
we have to share some of the awesome artwork that has come in from last week.
On the chalk, no less. On the sidewalk. How cute is that lion?
That is a pretty rad line
Love
with the
him.
king. And we've got Sue Space here. She's got her
Little
version.
tail.
Love that.
So cute.
And then Kelsey sent in hers. And I love this because she's actually sent in two. We've got the traditional crown and the superhero version.
Makes
I don't know.
sense to me. We were talking about
kind
superheroes.
Of like the super ninja lion going on there.
I love it.
A couple fun things about marriage here. I thought these would be good to share. Before you marry a person, you should first make them use a computer with slow internet to see who they really are.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's true.
That's been happening a lot lately with all the zooming.
Things going on there, right?
Yeah.
And this is why, so a little fun fact is we had a dishwasher and it broke and it's been like at least a year.
A year and a half, yeah.
Maybe more since we've replaced it. And we could replace it. It's not like we can. We just never got around to it. We talked about it a few times, but I now realize that this is the reason why we probably haven't, because this is
we
an
do
area.
not agree.
Kim has no clue how to
I am more flexible about my dishwashing.
There's a certain way to make it as efficient as possible. Some of you know what I'm talking about, right? To be able to get as much
Team
in there.
Kim in the comments.
If you're
like, whatever.
Throw them in like a frisbee, vote for Kim. But I think this is tip number 6
this
of
might
a good
be
marriage.
why we're still married.
Is we didn't get the dishwasher. And this one is just so cute. A perfect marriage is just two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other.
Aw, that's cute.
So I like that.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to share some awesome things.
Yes.
Kim Schrader went in big time and wore this squid hat to a Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that she took that advice.
She's been doing more hats. She's sending me more pictures. It's pretty epic.
Natalie Regis had some really great outfits that she's been wearing, and we've been talking a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. Helen Meisner. She's got this unicorn thing going. She's got this unicorn horn. And what she does is she makes little gifts for people. She's just spreading joy out there. And she makes these little crochet things. She gives them to people. It's just like, she's all about bringing joy. And we love that. Amy here sent me an email with her and her husband with these dinosaur masks, keeping things silly with the kids. Right. They actually move. Oh, that's awesome. They go up and down and stuff like that. So that's pretty rad. Yeah. And then Helen, this is the best part about this. So Helen sent me this, Helen Deal, and all she said is like, I am famous for sending Helen mail. Oh. No explanation. Not like, she just like, but you look, she's got all these little stickers on here, and she's got this Post-it note that says, the Rona can't stop the calendar. And then there's another one here where she's got all these fun little stickers. Aww. And I don't know any more than you do after looking at this, other than this is a thing called Helen Mail. Oh, and that's so cool. Even though she's famous for it, she's famous for it with with her friends and family and stuff. Mm-hmm. Now I can guess there's lighthearted and fun and whimsy and all that sort of stuff. But I share that, and I almost like the fact that I don't know exactly what it is, because I think that gives us inspiration. Yeah. That you could say like, what would Brian mail look like? What would Leah mail look like? And think of your own twist on it of like, how could you become famous? Because we don't get enough cool stuff in the mail. No. And so I am inspired by Helen.
We actually got something really cool in the mail last week from Mary, who's in the chat, I believe, Eichmeyer. She sent us a star that had like inspirational. It's literally a 3D star. I should have pulled it. I'll pull it next week, hopefully. And it's like plastic and it's rubbery and it has like words written all over it. And that was the mail. Was like this star. Yeah. So thank you, Mary. That was such a cool surprise.
The kind of mail that we need these days.
Look at all the people who are on Team Kim, by the way. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Amy Payne
about that. Wait. Kimberly Suba, sorry, but I have to agree with Jason, but that's probably why I'm still single. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
You're sweet.
I'm having trouble.
There's a couple of Kims.
I like Steven, Team Jason.
Someone
2
said
for
Team
me.
Row.
2 for me. I'm not
Tanya?
seeing...
Was there Tanya?
I'm not... Oh, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Look like 3-0. 3-0.
Come on, guys.
I don't see any for Kim.
This is my only place in my life that I'm flexible, okay?
Sue, thank you. Sue's
Sue,
helping her brother
Team
out.
Jason. Sue. Yeah, I should have done
That's
that.
what I'm talking about.
That's right. Lynn.
What about that wah wah? Don't we have that sound effect for
Yeah,
this?
if you think that you should load the dishwasher like Kim, have to think about that.
Holy nightmare.
Yeah, when I open up the dishwasher that Kim has loaded, it's
Holy nightmare.
that's exactly what it is.
And it all got cleaned. That's all I have to say. But
Yeah, 2 pieces.
that
of-
was 2 years
two-
ago when we
two
had a
dishes got
dishwasher.
cleaned. All right. Well, this was our 20th anniversary and our last anniversary show, as it appears to be. No, okay. It is time for giveaway. First,
Yes.
announcing last week's winner. We gave away a
Chance of Awesome.
Chance of
book.
Awesome book.
Mhm.
To,
And thanks for all the people who sent us messages wanting bulk books. That
Yes.
deal is now over, so thank you for that.
Yep, we had a
That was
special
awesome.
deal last week for people who bought
Lots
10 or
of
more books.
went out the door.
Doreen,
Brusheisen?
maybe? Doreen, you were the winner.
Thank you.
So
She was talking about loving the art and how she likes to participate in that. So
Very
thank
cool.
you for sharing
Very cool.
that.
Okay, Kim,
Yeah.
what are we giving away this week?
Yeah, this is a big deal, guys. We knew we had to amp it up, right? So yes, in light of this whole conversation about friendships and relationships, and tonight, Jason had this series called the Best Friend Forever series.
Best Friends Forever, yeah.
And I know Julie Brown, she might be on tonight. She's got a number of them. But these are a little pair of paintings, originals, no less, one of a kind.
So we got to put them on this side.
Oh, yes. Green eggs.
So green
and
eggs
ham.
and ham. And this was the first, I think this was the first Best Friends Forever one I did. And I didn't want to part with it.
Yeah.
I loved them. And I
love
think
the bright orange.
Kim Stanfield McMillan, longtime viewer, has given me some advice that she can relate to, and I can relate to this because she said this, that sometimes you have a piece that you really love and you need to keep it for you. And then sometimes after a while, you get to a point where you're like, okay.
It could be someone else's.
That could be someone else's now. And so this is
falls under
going
that
to be
category.
someone else's now.
Tonight.
And it's someone that is watching right now.
And this was made into a t-shirt,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, there's a t-shirt
I was
made
going to
on
say,
this.
I have this shirt.
So how
Yeah.
do you win? You have to
This is a
be
good question
live
tonight.
to win. So I know
Yes.
we've gone a little bit later tonight
Yeah,
because
thank you for sticking with us.
big budget show and all that. So thank you for sticking with us. But if you're still here, you got a chance to win these bad
Yes,
boys.
and here is the question you will have to answer in the comments to get a chance to win. What is your all-time favorite fictional wedding? Okay, and it doesn't have to just be a TV show or a movie.
Could be.
It could be.
Could be.
But any
comic
fictional
strip?
wedding that
Book?
what's
Favorite
your
book?
favorite? And we were kind of talking about this when we came up with this question because we're like, okay, Rachel and Ross. Do you go Friends? Do you go
Pam
Parks and
Jim,
Rec with
Leslie
Leslie
and,
and the other guy?
Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben. I mean, that was a really good wedding if you watch that.
Yeah.
So there's so many, right? I even thought of the Brady Bunch. The first episode of the Brady Bunch is their wedding.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Fun fact.
I love watching that one. So let's see, roll them in. What is your favorite fictional wedding? Because it's just fun to see how shows and movies and books portray weddings. I
Alan
think.
says The Runaway Bride.
Ooh, that's
Good one.
classic. Mm-hmm.
Monica and Chandler from
Ooh,
Friends.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Choice.
Ah,
I don't know what that one is.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Penny and Sheldon from Big Bang.
Oh,
from
yes. Mm-hmm.
Sam Gamgee and Rosie Cotton.
Nice.
Let's get,
Ooh,
Princess
Bride.
Bride. Do it,
Marriage.
Kim.
Marriage. My sister Christy loves doing that.
Amanda says Jim. I actually thought about pulling that in as a video.
Jim and Pam.
And then I thought maybe we would get in
Yes.
trouble with copyright thing, but so the marriage thing.
Yeah.
Lisa Marie says The Notebook.
Oh, yes.
Another one for
So
the
good.
Office wedding with Jim and Pam, Niagara Falls.
Oh, I'm just watching that SGN again. Or we watched that
Yep.
recently. Yep.
Totally Jamie and Claire from Outlander.
Nice.
Wedding scene, Godfather. Okay, The
No, I
Choice,
remember
Nicholas Sparks. That's a Nicholas Sparks book.
Okay. Okay.
Nah,
that
dude,
makes
that
sense.
sounds, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When Mike Seaver got married on Growing Pains.
Oh,
That's an old school one.
Kirk Cameron.
Classic. Classic.
You know I had a Kirk Cameron poster over my bed, right? Let us know if you did too, because
Beauty and the Beast. I see that one coming
Oh,
up. That's a good one.
Good, yes. Beauty and the
Moonlighting.
Beast. Cartoons.
I love asking questions that make me have good memories.
I know.
Thank you for that. We asked. Was last week we asked about the favorite dancing song, and we had so many good ones.
So many rock out
awesome.
songs. Dance like no one's watching. Yeah.
This one I'm gonna have to investigate. Santa Claus 2. Stacy's favorite.
For
favorite
wedding.
One.
That's not on my radar.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Obscure, but I love it.
A lot of Office.
Okay, keep them coming in. We will allow entries for a few minutes till after we get offline.
Mm-hmm.
We will select one shortly after we close down, and
it'll be exciting to see who's walking away with the green eggs and ham tonight.
Green eggs and ham. So I don't really know. Oh yeah, so the candles. We talked about the candles. You can go to our store. Those are there. And if you have any questions, send them to KJ at escapeadulthood.com. It's really, we get so much contact from people sending us pictures, people sending us things. Like, we love it, but when it's all over the place, it's hard to track it all down.
If you just put it right to that email, it helps us keep track of it.
Makes it
for
more
Adultitis
likely that
Fighters
you will have a contribution on the show.
Yeah.
So I hope you will send us stuff. So
this was so fun, you guys. Thank you for being a part of our special 20th celebration. All things hoping that it stays. We have a little trip at the end of June that we're hoping to take that we'll share more about as our, if life gets back to normal enough for us to do that. In the meantime, this was an amazing way to celebrate with you guys. So.
Thank you guys for being here. That is it for this show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Yes, shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Jason Kotecki.